Steeler Nation, what's good? It's your host, Chris Carter. We're on vacation. We've had a little bit fewer shows this week, but we're having fun. It's wonderful weather out here in the Dominican Republic. I'm chilling poolside, but we still bringing you that great content. You thought we were going to let you guys hang? Nah, we are going to have you all covered here. It's me and Jenna Harner, as always, on Fridays, breaking things down. We're going to start talking off about the Steelers' playoff hopes, chances, things that we need to see that they'll show that, hey, can this team make the surge to take advantage of what's been a struggling AFC this year? Then, of course, all of our picks for Week 15. And then finally, our breakdown and final predictions of Steelers versus Titans. It's a special vacation edition of Locked On Steelers podcast. I'm your host, Chris Carter. Let's get into it.
You are Locked On Steelers, your daily Pittsburgh Steelers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome to the Locked On Steelers podcast. I'm your host, Chris Carter, bringing you your daily dose of all things in the Pittsburgh Steelers. As always, you can find us on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Odyssey, and YouTube. Hit the like button on our YouTube video if you're watching it now, or hit the subscribe button on our channel to get all of our content all the time. Joining me, as always, is Jenna Harner of Channel 11 WPXI. I'm on vacation. She's not, but she does get a little day off here for Channel 11 on occasion. But we're recording on a Friday. Before we start the episode, I got to remind you guys, we are brought to you today by On Location. On Location is the official hospitality partner of the NFL and the only place to score once-in-a-lifetime Super Bowl tickets and experience package. Visit onlocationexp.com/SB56 for more information or search Super Bowl On Location. I'm on location, Jenna, but how you doing this fine week?
I was going to say, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was like, you're clearly on location right now. My goodness. I'm just all bundled up here in Pittsburgh. Meanwhile, the palm trees behind you are just, it's unfair. It's unfair.
It's so unfair. Life is not fair. Sometimes it favors me, and I'm loving it. But I've been having a great time and hanging out with some great friends. We've been chilling all week long. We apologize if the audio comes off a little bit weird, but hey, I've been filming in a closet in this nice, wonderful villa that we've been staying in. So I figured let's get some poolside action. Let's show off where I've been all week. So that's just the little excursion I took here. But Jenna, let's get down to business here about the Pittsburgh Steelers. They sit at 6-6-1. They're outside of the playoff race right now, but they are a half a game out of second place in the AFC North, a game and a half out of first place in the AFC North, and all the teams in the AFC North are on the struggle bus. The Bengals, after their dominant win over the Steelers, have dropped 2 straight, not looking impressive. The Ravens, Lamar Jackson's hurt, Marlon Humphrey's hurt, everybody's hurt on the Ravens, and now this surge of positive COVID tests for the Browns has their entire roster in jeopardy. This is an insane year.
It is absolutely crazy. I'm sorry. I was looking up schedules to kind of just see the remaining things that these last 3 teams have left because I'm intrigued. It's fascinating. And I tweeted a meme the other day because I was like, it's the convince me I'm wrong guy that's sitting outside the college thing. And I said, nobody actually wants to win the AFC North. Yeah. Because it's so up in the air. Just when you think someone's going to run away with it, all of a sudden, like the Bengals' identity is totally different. And then the Browns beat the Ravens almost. But then the Ravens, everybody's hurt. And now, like you said, the Browns with the COVID situation. This division feels wide open, and it should not be this wide open this late in the year. I don't think anybody thought any of this was going to happen. You kind of initially at the start of the season thought that it was going to be either the Browns or the Ravens running away with it a little bit, the Steelers keeping pace, and the Bengals looking good, and it was potentially going to be one of the best divisions in football. Not to say it's not one of the best divisions in football, I guess, record-wise, because there's some that are just absolutely atrocious, but it's just one of those, like, this is going to come down to week 17. This is absolutely going to cut. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that in the next 4 weeks, it's not going to be decided in the next 3 weeks. It will take all 4 of the remaining games on these team schedules to decide.
And crazy, it's going to come down to week 18 because there's another week this year. Like, that's how
17 games. Yeah, that right. That's
but I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. It's just that this year was the year that they said, oh, let's add on an extra game. And here we are, all the teams dealing with injuries, with COVID. And this was one thing I said, like, I get that we get more football and that's exciting and it gives us more work, and more chances to do our job, Jenna. But this was something I was very concerned about from the start, was just the impact and the potential impact of how this might how this might change the season for all these NFL teams, because now, guys, there's more risk for getting hurt. You have to last longer in the season. You're still dealing with COVID, and here we are mid-December, and teams are dealing with it. But the Steelers, back to them and their point in this, they are getting healthy. Mike Tomlin talked about how Joe Haden could be back, how you could be looking at Joe Haig, J.C. Hassenauer, T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith, even Carlos Davis, a guy that's been sitting on injured reserve for a long time. All of them have chances to be back. This could be a situation where the Steelers, if they can get their run defense together, if they can figure out some things, maybe they do make the late push here and fight their way into the playoffs.
And I think it's very realistic. Like, if people have kind of been looking at me like I'm a little crazy, and I'm saying the fact that, okay, there's 4 games remaining on the schedule. 3 of those are very winnable games, in my opinion. I think they could easily beat the Titans, the Ravens, and the Browns. I just don't see them beating the Chiefs right now.
Yeah, I agree.
The way that the Chiefs defense has been playing as of late, they've really started to figure it out. And, I mean, Patrick Mahomes just against anybody is just Patrick Mahomes. But for me, I don't think that's I guess it's not a winnable game. But again, you never know, because literally, as we've seen, any given Sunday in the NFL, anything can happen. But realistically, the Steelers could win 3 of their 4, which would put them at 9-6-1. Are they 6? They're 6-6-1 right now.
Yeah, they're 6-6-1. So if they win 3 of their 4, they'd be 9-7-1.
9-7-1. Math is fun. 9-7-1, which is realistic. Also, it's very realistic too. They could go 8-8-1.
Yeah.
Which I think is the more sure bet. I think the Titans game is going to be very interesting this weekend, which we will touch on. But just kind of looking at the remaining schedules for the other teams, the Ravens have the Packers, the Bengals, the Rams, and the Steelers. So
that's a rough situation with Lamar's ankle being day to day. I'm not so sure if the Ravens can handle that.
No, I don't think so at all. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to go tear that secondary up. Yeah. I think the Bengals game will be interesting. I think they lose to the Rams too. We've seen what the Rams have been doing. And then it might come down to Steelers-Ravens that final weekend of the year. The Browns on their schedule, the Browns see the Raiders this weekend, which will be very interesting. I probably would have given that to them for a win, but the COVID situation there is just absolutely decimating that locker room right now. Really I think they have at least 10 players. It's at least 8. It was 8 as of Monday, and I know Baker Mayfield went on, so maybe it's between 8 and 10 players. Then they play the Packers, the Steelers, and the Bengals. So interesting. I don't think they win. I don't think they beat the Packers. I think the Packers are clearly one of the best teams. Mm-hmm. And then Cincinnati finishes things off. They have Denver, who's very intriguing to me right now, the Ravens, the Chiefs, and the Browns. So again, this is really, it's just going to be one of those, I feel like we're just going to sit and watch the playoff picture happen.
It's really going to play out in these next few weeks. There's no, like you said, there's no team that's guaranteed anything. And on top of that, these are all teams that, like, they're all on the struggle bus. As much as the Browns can be proud of their win against the Ravens, they barely beat a team that was being led by Tyler Huntley for 3 quarters. Like, that was a situation that they should have ran away with the game. They didn't score a single point in the second half against the Ravens defense that was missing several pieces and still will be missing several pieces. Yeah. The Steelers have to find a way to get things together. If their defense can get back to at least be neutralizing the run, they don't have to become a super run stuffing defense over these final weeks, but just make it so that teams' backups aren't running for 100 yards on you. Take that away from teams. Let Ben Roethlisberger kind of do what he's done in these past few fourth quarters. See if there can be some clicking, some rhythm built from that, and just roll with that. You only have four games left in the season. It's time to make that push to see if they can actually put some things together and make their final bets to make it to the playoffs. We're gonna break down all the upcoming games this weekend because there are a plenty here to be breaking down. We're gonna do our picks as always, but first, we got to go to our sponsors. We're going to start off with On Location. Super Bowl 56 is at SoFi Stadium, and it's less than 100 days away. And On Location, the official hospitality partner of the NFL, is the only place to score a once-in-a-lifetime Super Bowl ticket and experience package. Select your exact seats and choose from an elite experiences featuring an exclusive pregame celebration with NFL legends, 5-star LA hotels, and food by the great Wolfgang Puck. Visit onlocationexp.com/SB56 for more information. Search Super Bowl On Location. That's again onlocationexp.com/SB56 or search Super Bowl On Location. We're also brought to you by Stat Hero. No one plays daily fantasy sports to lose. Winning feels so much better. But traditional fantasy sports are a long-term losing proposition because you never know who or what you're up against. Stat Hero is the first of its kind daily fantasy sports platform where it's you versus the house in head-to-head fantasy matchups. Winner take all. And here's the crazy part. Stat Hero shows you their lineups before you play, and you handpick your team to beat the one that they put out in front of you. Never before seen innovation of fantasy sports and sports betting hybrid that is Stat Hero and has players clocking odds that are over 4 times better. Why? Because you don't have to compete against thousands of experts and unknowns. Stat Hero puts you in control of your fate. With Stat Hero, you are in control of the stakes. You decide how much you're going to play for, and Stat Hero has no choice to take it because they're daring you to beat them. Go to Stat Hero today to sign up for free, and at stathero.com/lockedon, you can use promo code LOCKEDON for a 100% deposit match on your first deposit. Again, it's stathero.com/lockedon. Use promo code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON, for a 100% deposit match. Again, stathero.com/lockedon, promo code LOCKEDON. Terms and conditions apply. Now that we've done that, that was a mouthful of back-to-back ad reads, Jenna. Let's get to these picks here because it's nice. I'm sipping on some rum, and I want to get in this pool again.
We're going to get you. We're going to fly through this. We're going to do this for the people, and by people, I mean we're doing this for you and our listeners. We love
and our listeners, of course. Yeah, they're secondary right now. Listeners, I'm trying to be me right now. But anyway, we start off with a very important game. Of course, we always skip the Thursday game because this is a Friday episode. But Raiders at Browns is your first Saturday game. We got 2 big Saturday games, 2 AFC games with high stakes involved. The Raiders have fallen off from being one of the best teams in the AFC to start the season to falling to 6-7 right now. But they face a 7-6 Browns team that's dealing with COVID. Several players are missing, and it's looking like Case Keenum's going to have to start in place of Baker Mayfield with him testing positive. I get that there's still some protocols being worked out, but to me, Jenna, this has the Raiders taking advantage of this written all over it. I had the Browns picking this all the way because of the way the Raiders have been falling off, but the Browns, they're dealing with so much right now.
And again, it's not like it's just Case Keenum coming in for Baker Mayfield. It's a ton of that offense. Yeah. As of Tuesday, I believe, it was Jarvis Landry. It was Austin Hooper. It was multiple starters on the offensive line. Like, it's unfortunate. And thankfully, from what reports are saying, a lot of them aren't feeling very severe symptoms. So you want to think that everybody hopefully is going to be all right and that it isn't going to hit people too hard. But you can't play. And when you're without a chunk of your starting offense, this is a game for the Raiders that they should win. If they don't, that is going to just be a big yikes. But yeah, before the COVID situation, I would have said the Browns, but with the way things are looking at the time we're recording this, I'm going to say the Raiders. The
Patriots play the Colts. The Patriots used to be the biggest problem for the Colts for years. But now Tom Brady's gone, but still they found a way to make something of their season. Mac Brown has them in first place in the AFC with a 9-4 record. That defense is playing well. The Colts, a team that has found a way to survive later this season after a rough start because of the run game and Jonathan Taylor. But I'm going with the Patriots. I think their defense will cause enough problems for that run game. Carson Wentz won't be able to beat him on his own. And the Patriots, they found a way to win the other week with 3 passes. I'm going to say they're going to find a way to win against the Colts on the road here.
Yeah, as much as it pains me to say it, the Patriots are kind of on a roll here, and they've been so successful on the road this season. I think that's going to help them. Even the fact that Indianapolis is coming off a bye week, I'm going the Patriots here. They just have looked way too good not to pick them.
Moving to our Sunday games here, Panthers at Bills. The Bills are on the struggle bus too, Jenna. They have not fared well. This was their year to assert control, not just in the AFC East, but the entire AFC. If they had played the level that we all thought they would this year, they would have. To me, they should have been the team that had 10 or 11 wins already and was running away with the conference. But they're sitting at 7-6, but they're hosting a 5-8 Panthers team that is struggling. I gotta say the Bills win at home here.
This has to be a win for the Bills. They're so emotionally fired up after the way that the Tampa game ended, especially that potential pass interference call late that could have changed the trajectory of things. Josh Allen looked incredible in that second half. He is dealing with a little bit of that foot injury, but reports have said as of the time that we're taping this that he hasn't been wearing a boot or was seen without it. So that is something that's definitely positive there. And even if they sit, I still think the Bills win this game. They just have too much talent and they know what's at stake, especially in terms of playoff positioning.
A couple picks I think will come to us fast here. Cardinals at the Lions. I mean, come on.
I mean, geez.
We're not even breaking that down.
That's just cards.
Arizona. We know that one. Jets at Dolphins. Now, this could be a game that catches you off guard, but the Dolphins have been playing better. They're 6-7. I say they win this week to beat the Jets to get back to 500. All of a sudden, the Dolphins are in the playoff mix, Jenna. But do you think the Jets throw a wrench in their plans?
I don't think so. Miami's defense has been stepping up lately and has been looking really good. And Tua has been kind of, showing, hey, you can trust in me. I can be this guy for you. He's looked pretty impressive too. So I'm going with the Dolphins here.
Going to the NFC East here with back-to-back games. Huge week for this division. The Cowboys at 9-4 face the Giants at 4-9. The Giants are out of the playoff race at 4-9, but they get to be spoiler here. I don't think they will. I think the Cowboys, they've been on the struggle bus. Dak Prescott has had 2 bad weeks in a row, but they found a way to win last week. I say they find another way to win this week because of that defense.
This will be a game the Giants lose by a field goal. Mark it down right here. The Giants will lose by a field goal.
There you go. There's betting odds too. She's saying if there's a plus minus. Oh, Dallas is being given 10.5 points. So bet the Giants is what Jenna's saying right there. That's an impressive bet right there. But NFC East showdown. Now, this one to me is more crucial because both of these teams, Washington at 6-7, Eagles at 6-7, they're hanging on by a thread in the NFC. And if they want a chance at the playoffs, they got to make a push here in the last 4 games. I'm going with Washington. I think that they're going to be a better team in this game. Both teams have been dealing with injuries. Both teams have been dealing with questions. But I think Washington's going to be able to put together on more on their end, maybe some big passing plays to break through that Eagles secondary. But I wouldn't be surprised. Both the Eagles quarterback, Jalen Hurts, he might be coming back from injuries here. I just think that their situation with the way that Washington plays defense will play right into Washington's hands, and they'll get the W on the road.
I think so too. I think that this should be a win for the Washington football team. Philly just kind of has too many question marks still for me. And I think, again, with Jalen Hurts, the potential, is he going to play? Is he not going to play? That really throws a little bit of a wrench into it. But I think Washington's a little more complete, depending on what happens with Taylor Heineke as well. But yeah, I'm going with the Washington football team.
Texans at Jaguars. I mean, this is the toilet bowl right here. I'm just going to say Texans just because I really don't care.
Yeah, this one is like, I think actually Jacksonville is favored in this one. Are they?
They are. They're favored by 3.5 points. Wow.
Yeah, no, I think this is absolutely a game that the Texans win. And this, you should just watch it for how insanely ridiculous it's going to be.
Exactly. Bengals at Broncos, a huge game in the AFC. Both teams are 7-6. The Bengals have been reeling. I'm going this way, though. I'm saying the Broncos find a way to win. Teddy Bridgewater and that defense, they've been annoying. The Bengals have been inconsistent. I don't think this is the week that they figure it out. They're going to drop to 7-7. I say the Broncos offense finds some big plays in this game, and their defense keeps the Bengals out of it just long enough for them to take advantage.
Yeah, this is, to me, I can't pick it for Cincinnati because they're so inconsistent. When they blow out the Steelers and then get blown out by the Chargers, it's like, who is this team? What's going on here? And the game that you would have thought they would have beat San Francisco, I mean, they took them to overtime because of a missed field goal. But, I mean, again, they shouldn't have even had the chance to go to overtime in that game. So, to me, they're too inconsistent. I don't know who they are right now. I like a lot of what Denver's been doing. And Denver's kind of making a quiet push as well. So, they're trying to stay in the playoff race. So, I'm going Denver just because, hey, make things more interesting in the AFC North.
Absolutely. Falcons at Niners, 2 teams I've had a hard time figuring out. How are the Falcons are 6-7? When did they get 6 wins this season? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. But the Niners at 7-6, they have to win this game. Their defense has to take over. They cannot allow Matt Ryan to dice them up here if they want to have any chance at the playoffs. They'd move up to 8-6 with a win. I say they're at home. They're favored by 9. This needs to be a game the Niners put away. They dropped a tough one to Seattle. They cannot drop this one as well.
Yeah, and I think you saw a lot of good things from them in that win against the Bengals. And again, it shouldn't have even gone into overtime, but Brandon Ayuk looked really solid. George Kittle is kind of coming back into the picture here after some up and down weeks. I'm going with the 49ers here. They should win this game.
Seahawks at Rams. The Seahawks pulled off an upset, but I don't think they got it this week. The Rams are back in their winning ways. Whatever it was that had them in their funk, they're out of it. I say this is a Rams blowout by a lot. They're only favored 4.5 points. I'd still take them in this one.
Yeah, it is interesting to see some of the COVID protocols they're dealing with as well. They have some key guys that they're missing, but also because of the weird way the week is staggered, they might get some of those guys back in time for the game. So I'd be a little cautious with this one, kind of keep an eye on it. But as of right now, I just think the Rams are too strong of a team. Russell Wilson has been playing better, but I like the Rams here.
Now, here's a game that originally looked like it would be amazing, the amazing 425 slot game, but the Packers at the Ravens, 10-3 at 8-5. I'm sorry, just with all the things that the Ravens are going through right now with Lamar Jackson, you're not even if he does play, I think this should be a game that the Packers route them in. They'll be able to contain Lamar enough and to contain his legs, even if he's healthy. And Aaron Rodgers should have a field day with that secondary that's missing so many different pieces with Marlon Humphrey out too.
Yeah, and that's something that I think that's what this game is going to come down to. Aaron Rodgers is going to pick that secondary apart, and I think it's going to be a really fun game to watch if you are not a Ravens fan.
If you are not, if you're a Steelers fan, if the Steelers win at 1 o'clock, you might be able to get down and watch the Ravens lose a tough one. But if they fight back, that could be really interesting as well. Sunday Night Football, Saints at Buccaneers. The Saints have been a thorn in the Buccaneers for the last two years. They've been able to find ways to get these weird wins against them. I see that comes to an end this week. The Buccaneers, they're at 10-3. They're going to find a way to win and move to 11-3.
Yeah, this is one, depending on if the teams looked a little bit differently, if, New Orleans was really, really rolling, I could say this could be a close game, but I just think Tampa's too strong, too dominant right now. I like the Bucs here.
Finally, Monday Night Football, Vikings at Bears. Vikings with their big win over the Steelers. If they win this week, they get back to 500, 7-7. Bears been on the struggle bus, though, at 4-9. I'm taking Kirk Cousins and Dalvin Cook. If Dalvin Cook played like that last week, he's going to eat the Bears up even more this week.
Yeah, I like what Chicago did a little bit. There was some good glimpses of what the potential for that team is against Green Bay over the week or over the weekend.
They put up a fight.
Yeah, they definitely put up a fight, but I just think, kind of like you said, Dalvin Cook is just going to be unmatched. I think the Vikings receivers too have really, really been taking another step with the loss of Adam Thielen. I don't know exactly the reports if they're going to get him back in time or not. But Justin Jefferson and KJ Osborne both looked really good. Both made a lot of plays. I don't think this is going to be a close one because Minnesota could afford not to play a close game, but hey, you never know how that works, but I'm going the Vikings here.
Before we get you our official Steelers pick, we got to talk to our sponsors at betonline.ag. BetOnline has you covered all season long with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. As football season continues the march to the playoff, BetOnline remains your number one spot for all the sports action this season. Head to the new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit just as you use your promo code LOCKEDON. That's LOCKEDON, locked on, all capital letters, all one word. From basketball to football to NHL to boxing to UFC, right down to the Vegas casino games they have available. Don't wait to take advantage of all of the amazing offers available for the 2021 season at BetOnline, the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports, and BetOnline, where the game starts. We're also brought to you by Built Bar. This holiday season, grab the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar, but not just any candy bar, a holiday candy bar. They are filled with so much holiday goodness, rich with decadent flavor, covered in chocolate, but amazingly low in calories, low in sugar, low in net carbs, low in fat, and high in protein. You get the best of both worlds, delicious and healthy. With so many flavors, you have a hard time choosing. You have raspberry, mint brownie, cherry, double chocolate, cookies and cream, or peanut butter brownie. The choice is yours. Built Bar gives you that extra boost and fuel when you're out there shopping and trying to break down those mall doors to beat the holiday shoppers. Or if you're just standing in a long, endless shopping line, be sure to pull out a Built Bar and eat on one to give you more energy to get you through the rest of your day. You could throw one in your jacket or your purse. You never know when you're going to need one. Go to Built.com any time right now, because if you want to try your favorite flavor, you can get that right now at built.com for your favorite Built Bar by using code LOCKED15 to get 15% off your next order. Again, that's going to built.com to use promo code LOCKED, LOCKED15, all capital letters, all one word, LOCKED15 for 15% off at built.com. As I move my shade so I can see my computer and switch off of my ads, we're moving it to the Steelers-Titans game. Now, Jenna, this is a big game here as I use my phone because I can't see my computer screen that well. The Titans are still favored by 1.5 points in this game. They have an offense that still found a way to move the ball even without Derrick Henry. The biggest question for me in this game is, can the Steelers still neutralize that ground game? If they're able to come back with a healthy reinforcement this week and stuff the run, that to me is the key to victory if they want to have any chance to win this game. You take away the run, force Ryan Tannehill to be one-dimensional, and that's going to put your defense in a spot where they can say, hey, you're predictable right now. We're going to rush your quarterback. We're going to get after it, and that's how we win the game here. But is that a realistic expectation with the struggles that they've had recently, Jenna?
I think depending on who you have healthy, that's coming back. If, like Mike Tomlin alluded to on Tuesday, if TJ Watt, if Alex Highsmith, if Joe Haden, I think Joe Haden is way more of a crucial piece, and not obviously first entirely stopping the run, but just what he is able to do in that secondary. I mean, he's missed, quote me if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong here, but it's been a month.
Yeah, it's been that long. He's been out for a very long time with this injury.
It feels like it's been a while, and I think for him, getting back into that secondary is going to be a huge factor. Again, we've heard the Steelers kind of talk about it. And we've heard Cam Hayward get really fired up and get frustrated and says, it's Groundhog Day. We have to change this. At some point, you think something has to give, and you want to assume that. I mean, we heard also Mike Tomlin on Tuesday kind of say, like, we were kind of able to sit back and like take a wide picture view and see how much variability there is in the league right now and their place in it. They know that technically the division is still up for grabs for them. They're in last place in the division right now, but it isn't over. And I think they realize kind of the extent of it. So I think it can be done. Are we going to kind of see a total switch flipped? No, because we've seen the struggles from this rush defense all season. But again, it comes down to if they can get some of those guys that missed last game that were injured or just weren't, were taken out. If they can get some of those guys back, I think that's going to be a huge factor. Something else I'm kind of looking at is how much say Ben will have with the offense. Because if this team, we were talking about it on our fantasy football show a couple days ago, but if Ben Roethlisberger plays the way he has played in the fourth quarters, and granted, obviously it's situational sometimes because they're from behind, they have to take some of these shots, but if he can kind of work the offense he wants to work, this could be an entirely different game than what we've seen from the last handful.
Exactly. And that could be very, very much different, especially if they can establish that rhythm early on. Remember back early in the season, we talked about how they started off really slow in the first quarters. And then, they had a couple games they scored in the first quarter, but then still fell off at some point. They have to find some level of consistency. And again, I'm not talking about 30 points a game, but make it so that when you're scoring 24, 27 points in some games, that some of those points are coming early on so that there's a lead for the defense to protect. And that maybe you're forcing opponents into tougher decisions and you're not getting started so late in the game. So there's a lot of chances here for the Steelers in this game. This Titans team has been reeling themselves. Before their win over the Jaguars, they had lost 3 straight. This might be the chance for the Steelers to get back into the winning percentage column. I think that they have a really good shot at this week. I am predicting this game to go down to the wire. 27-24, Chris Boswell field goal wins it in the end, and Steelers fans get the W that they've been hoping for to get back to 7-6-1. But Jenna, who do you say wins this game?
I have a very similar score prediction. I'm going Steelers 24, Titans 20. I think it's going to be one of those games where the Steelers might have to play from behind a little bit. But again, they know what's at stake. We heard Mike Tomlin say this is a big game. And hopefully that message is getting across to his guys because there is still a chance. Again, the season is not over. It may almost feel like it, but they know they string together 2-3 wins here. And all of a sudden, things are looking a whole lot different in terms of the playoff picture.
Absolutely. Things could look a lot different. We'll see if both of our predictions hold up here. I will be back with you guys when I'm back in Pittsburgh Sunday night going into Monday morning after the Steelers do play the Tennessee Titans. Thanks so much for checking out the Locked On Steelers podcast. Thank you, Jenna, for hanging with me while I'm on vacation and coming out and doing this show on our show. Please let me know who to find you, follow you, and get more of your work.
Well, thank you for taking some time out of your vacation to join us, even though you're still sitting in the sun and I'm just bundled up over here.
Hey.
It's like 60 degrees today, so it's a good day here, okay? It's like
a good day.
It's a good day.
It's like 75 here, just not to brag.
Oh, it's good. You can find me on Twitter at JennaHarner11, Instagram Jenna_Harner, and on WPXI most weekday nights and weekends. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Do check out Jenna. She does amazing work with Channel 11. I'm Chris Carter, host of the Locked On Steelers podcast. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Carter Critiques. If you want to check out more of this show, we are on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Odyssey. If you want to see all the visuals of me sitting poolside for the entire episode, sipping on some rum here in the Dominican Republic, go to YouTube. Check out our YouTube channel, Locked On Steelers. Subscribe to it. Like this video. We appreciate all of our support there. Leave us a 5-star review with a positive comment on Apple Podcast, and we give you a shout at the end of the show. Thanks again for checking us out this week. Sorry we had a few less episodes, but I'm on vacation and I was trying to enjoy some of it. I'll be back in your ears and on your screens on Monday.